Hello again. I've been doing a lot better in terms of being sick or not sick. I just have a lingering cough and hopefully that goes away by Thanksgiving. These past few weeks have been awful for me, and not just because I got terribly sick, but it has shown me how little I matter, I guess. I don't know how to put it. People say that, hey, you matter, and to some extent I agree. Many people in this world wouldn't be living a life as happy as they do if it weren't for me. And I'm not saying that to brag that I'm this beacon of joy or ball of sunshine, because I'm not. But if they were to hear of my passing, I'm sure they would mourn. I recognize that, and I'm grateful for those people. But I look at myself and what I've done this year, and it's hard to think that I'm not a failure. I still have plenty of my life to live, but people say that tomorrow isn't promised, because it's not. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't even know what's going to happen today. We can only guess, and well, I'm afraid that if I died today, my life would amount to nothing. And that's not a question I'm asking myself, like, hey, do you think if I died today, would my life amount to nothing? No, it's something I'm sure of, and it's something I have been thinking about for a while now. Since I was out of commission these past weeks, no school, no social life, no outside. I think I went a good 2 weeks without leaving the house, which that isn't common for me. I try to at least make an effort to get a breath of fresh air every day. But I mean, I didn't even have the strength to get out of my bed. So all I was left with were my thoughts and endlessly doom scrolling on my phone, which I need to stop because I've been wasting a lot of time on screens. Well, here I am now. I remember the first time I got out of the house, I was so excited. I went to go buy food for my dog since I ran out of dog food, and usually I hate driving to the store because it's like close enough to where you think you could walk, but once you start walking, you realize that driving was way faster and so much more easier. But when you start driving, you think to yourself, like, this is such a short distance to drive. I'm like wasting gas. And there's also a handful of not so intelligent people on the road, and it's a gamble to drive these days. Anyways, being trapped in this small sized room, it has made me think a lot, mostly about me and my future, but also about what would happen if I were to not be here. And to be clear, I love to live. I would love to live the rest of my life till I'm 90. I don't know, till the Lord tells me my time is up. I'm not thinking about anything in the realm of dying soon. I have a plan that I feel like I'm loosely following, in which the result is to retire my parents. I remember I used to want to do many things. Reminiscing on my childhood made me remember the first dream career I wanted, which was to be a bus driver. Yeah. I wanted to drive the bus we would take everywhere, like to the park, to church, to downtown. I remember I would take like couch cushions and just random objects in general, and would make my own little driver's seat of like a bus and pretend to be driving this large vehicle across the LA streets, and I had a blast doing it. As I grew up, that changed drastically to the point where I wanted to become a doctor, and this became the default answer I gave to everyone when it came to asking me, what do you want to be when you grow up? Now, there were reasons for why I chose to want to be a doctor, because I did choose this. I never really was serious about this. I'll explain in a bit. My mom was actually studying to become a doctor herself and ultimately gave it up to have me. How noble. And I kind of felt this slight duty to finish what she started. And even though people told me, you don't have to live your parents' dream if you don't want to, I would be like, no, that's not the case. I just really want to be a doctor. The other reason I wanted to be a doctor was because everyone knows that they make bank. What they don't tell you, however, is that they make it after not so glory days. And I commend those doctors because they truly sacrifice their own life and sanity to save others. At some point, I began to gaslight myself into thinking that I actually wanted to be a doctor because I had said it so many times it had to be true. And plus, anytime I asked myself what I really wanted to be, I would be running the other way. That question scared the shit out of me, and I would avoid it at all costs. Regardless, as time went on, I began to realize that I didn't want to be a doctor. And now looking back at it, I don't think I possibly could have kept up with all the work and talent it takes to be one. So, yeah. Now, leaving high school with no goal in mind was rough because I didn't know what to do or how to start because there wasn't like an end in sight. I was told I had 2 years to do my general ed and then I could choose a career I wanted. So I spent those 2 years looking for what I really wanted to be, and well, I chose to be a good son. Growing up, I was never conscious of the amount of work my parents did to give me the perfect life. Though we were poor, I never saw poverty because they would give me everything I needed when I needed it. And I'm very thankful for that. So I decided what I truly wanted in life was to retire my parents, or at least help them in any way I could. My dream is to see them not have to worry about bills or worry about working another day for the rest of their lives. And I have been told many times by them that it's not my job as a son to, take care of my parents, but I just think it would be a nice goal to reach, and maybe throughout my journey I may find other opportunities or interests developing, I wanted to use this goal to motivate me when times get rough in life, that I'm not necessarily doing it for me, it's for my folks too, and if I fail them. So don't fail, or at least get back up. And well, that leads me to today. I don't know, I can't say that I wasted this year because I have seen myself grow as a person in many aspects of life. I'm not the same person I was last year. However, I am in the same place I was at the start of this year. And to see little to no progress is, I don't know how to feel. I get that this year has been important, and you know what they say, Rome wasn't built in a day, which actually reminds me of this old friend who didn't do anything. He hated school. He didn't do homework. He didn't date. He didn't work. He just wanted to play video games. And a year after high school, his Instagram page popped up, and I saw that he had changed his profile picture. It was this low-res picture that wasn't even centered, but it had the words, "Can't rush greatness." I wonder what he's up to now. Anyways, I know that this goal I have in mind is difficult, but it's possible, and it will take time. And I really just hope I don't run out of time. And I hope that I don't run into any roadblocks. I'm not an impatient person. At least I don't think I am. I can wait for stuff, I don't need same day shipping, 2 days is okay. I could wait a week for a package. I don't really care. It's not like I'm dying or desperately need to accomplish this as soon as possible, or, cut the estimated time in half because I want it now. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that I am still on the journey to a happy life, a good life, a life worth living. That if I were to disappear today, none of my work would matter because people would just move on. People would look at my efforts and say, that was a nice try, and that's it. But I don't want it to be a nice try. I don't want it to be a failed attempt. And I can't, avoid death, I'm not Superman, or I don't know if he doesn't die. I'm not Jesus. It's random, and I can't control when I go, and I don't even want to control that. I just now realize that none of the work I put into this means anything until I reach this goal. But perhaps I'm being too hard on myself. If someone came up to me with this problem I would do everything to make sure they know their effort counts. And maybe I should do that to myself. I don't know. It's been a rough month, and yeah, I wanted to yap about this a little bit, but I guess it's only up from here, you know. All right, bye-bye.